Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Lucid here with Maryland,
Howdy, folks.
and we're back. It's turn 7, I believe, in the finals, and we've got a lot of stuff. Turn 7 is kind of when a lot of people are doing multi-expansion. And
You mentioned yesterday that you might do a little bit of a reduced methodology. Did you want to? I just thought maybe it would be worth explaining that.
yeah, it's a great idea. So I think what we'll do this time is we're still going to do the same thing where we read the message, we go do the nation, but we're gonna do spoilers. We're gonna click the battle report first, and if it doesn't look interesting, we're going to skip through it because by now you'll have seen most of the details of how these guys are expanding.
I agree. I think it'll be much more interesting to take the time when we see a player versus player battle, and if there's scripting tricks.
Right. Okay, so we start off with Pangaea, played by Sai. This expansion has just been so clean, it's night and day compared to my Fascia game. Arco said I'm not on his hit list, but we haven't actually talked borders or anything. If he wants that lake, I'm wanting to take with Merman or Coastal Fort on my border, though. He's going to have to Malacco pretty hard.
So Arco is
Arco's Pelagia.
Pelagia. Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. So,
Malacal pretty hard. Was he?
is that how you say it? I don't really know what that word is. I've seen people say it a lot, but
Malacal to me. Oh, that's from that set of books, the Malachian Empire books. I think that's where that reference is from.
oh,
I
okay.
don't really like those books, but some people go crazy for them.
Huh.
While you're doing that, I'll quickly Google that.
Okay, yeah, that's good. So, this one's actually kind of interesting because it's 15 heavy cav versus some white centaur. So we'll watch this.
It doesn't make any sense. The Google didn't make any sense.
Oh,
When you get a chance, I'd like to see that spelling. I might have misspelled it.
all right.
See, again, he's doing great with using his satyrs. That's the best use of satyrs I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, they're doing their job, saving white centaur lives.
Absolutely. And they're 7 gold, right?
Yeah, or 9. They're kind of
9.
pricey, but whatever.
Yeah.
They're not going to win you your first war, I don't think.
No, but they're doing their job. Oh, he's putting the squeeze on Pelagia.
Malacco.
Well, Malacca is a city in South Sudan. So, the city that vanished.
Huh. Vanished.
There's a BBC report. The city that I don't know this reference.
Huh. Strange.
So it sounds to me like he's referencing a scorched earth methodology.
I don't think I've seen people meme with it before where you might have better like an urban dictionary or something like cried Malacco. I've heard people say. I have no idea what it means.
Okay, let's try Urban Dictionary.
So this is interesting. There was a fort going up here, right? Or am I a liar? I want to go back and check. This is this Naba fort or Naba province. They got attacked by spies.
Oh my god. And he had a fort going up.
I'm pretty gosh darn sure. We're gonna go back and check because that's game changing.
Absolutely. Just quickly take a look. That's brutal.
That's a game changing.
Ouch. That would be 6. I'm sure he had he had a. Oh no,
man.
And he bought 11
Oh,
PD.
he's luck 3 too, and already has 1 luck scale in there. Oh, it hurts. It hurts so bad. But I think one thing to look at too, like this is a little. First of all, I've never seen that spy event before, but let's go back. Well, I want to. So it's at 11 PD. 11 PD. When you consider how much income you lose if you lose this for even like 2 turns, or especially if you lose the fort, this is totally a province. Even just having a bit higher to get unrest down a little bit faster.
Yeah.
It's worth, I think, putting up to 20.
I would have PD dumped there. Plus, I would have put actually a valid patrol force there to protect that fort because I would have been expecting a human
Pangaea
to take that out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's
Yeah,
one of the
and
things we were
then-
talking about last episode too. So this isn't 100% Monday morning quarterbacking from us.
Yeah, exactly.
Though of course it's much easier to put PD in hindsight than it is to correctly anticipate where the spies are going to attack.
But show that event again.
Foreign agents have infiltrated the local garrison. They're now trying to take control of the province.
So he got a warning.
No. So this is what this event is. It lowered the PD in the province. Oh my gosh. Do you have Mod Inspector? Can you load events and look this up? A foreign agent is what you would type in.
Yeah, just give me a sec. I had it open here. Where'd it go? Ouch. That hurt.
This lowered him, it looks like, down to 3. So it looks like it did a -8 PD. I bet you the event has a threshold of you have to have PD less than a certain amount, is my guess.
Well, I'll have it here in a second. I just have to. It just is doing that loading process for events.
Yeah.
Okay, you said a foreign tribe. No, that's not the right.
A foreign agent, or no A, just foreign agents, plural. Foreign agents have infiltrated.
Foreign agents had infiltrated. So it reduces the defense by 8, exactly as you said. Requirements: you have to have a minimum defense of 10, uncommon bad, and a maximum troops of 20. So he could have stopped it with a patrol force.
Maximum troops 20. So this one doesn't have a minimum defense requirement. It has a maximum defense requirement. Like, it's not like if you had 20, you would stop it. It has a minimum.
It has a minimum. So he had to have bought at least 10.
So if he didn't put any PD there at all, this particular event wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, but even so,
It would have been still an uncommon bad, though.
a viable patrol force would have been a wise move, or just waiting a little on that fort, maybe. I don't know. That's Monday morning quarterbacking.
Yeah, this would have probably needed, I think 20 PD with the camel riders here would have been okay. Because it would have been gone from 20 down to 12. And 12 might have just barely repelled this.
Yeah, but ouch.
I've never seen this event before in years and years of playing.
It's a rarity too, so it's not very common.
Right. Well, and generally, if you're playing luck like he is, now his luck scales haven't spread that much. It's only 1 here. But, just the fact of not having misfortune, you can be a little less zealous about putting province defense. But if you play misfortune, oh boy, you better pay for that misfortune by putting some PD in your places you're building forts.
Yeah, that's painful.
All right, we have a few more battles from Pangaea here. This one we're not going to watch because nothing much happens.
Same as the other.
And this one, you guys know how this works.
Yeah, he's doing
And this one,
very well. Did he do 4?
he did 4.
Wow.
Yeah, this one's super clean. This one, there's a kind of lot. 60 dudes versus 5. This is probably a bit on the edge.
Unless he's doing something funky with the white center. Well, he's got the smite, but
Oh, and the sleep clouds.
that's the other guy's sleep clouds, right? Iton. Matan Galizi. No, that's the opponent wizard doing the sleep clouds. These guys just shrugged off
It hit the Minotaur now. He's pissed.
Whoops.
Yeah, they just come through and
Look at him just tear it apart.
yeah,
Okay.
it's brutal. But this one of the things, there's some sacreds in the game that PD dumps are not going to do terribly well. And you can imagine this is a PD, and what if he comes at you with 20 white centaur? Your PD is not going to have much to say about that.
No.
And it didn't care much for the archers either, which is why I was a little worried as Naba, because a lot of the Naba stuff early, you'll hear people talk about how the camel riders are OP. I've heard it said many times. They're just so good, and it's
Really?
like, what are they going to do against white centaur?
Yeah, but they just died to light infantry in that battle in the farmer bomb.
Yeah,
I mean, that was just light infantry.
Yeah, and I don't think they're saying 3's OP, but I think they're saying getting like
I mean,
40 or something, and then a bunch of archers. But
okay.
this is 5 white centaur. Oh my god.
Yeah, Pan's doing exceptionally well. Unquestionably.
Yeah, so he's now got a fully favorable border with Ulm because he's got. Oh wait, no. Oh shit! I don't think we talked about this yet.
He's got 12 provinces, turn 7.
Ulm got the Furblog Fortress. Oh, dude, that's so good as Ulm.
Oh, wow.
I was gonna.
Jumping around.
I thought that was the capital. I was like, oh, he's got a favorable border. They haven't disputed it yet.
Holy cow! Good grief.
All right. Well, let's see who's up next. We got Vanheim up next. We'll come back and do Ulm and Naba properly later. Okay, now you remember last episode, Vanheim had just... And Vanheim is a very experienced player. It's Chris Lighthawk. Just a horrible, horrible turn.
Oh, there's 2 witch doctors. I think we missed that. So the double witch doctor, he's saying that was
the thing.
Was what did him in. Well,
the sleep clouds did mess with him.
Yeah, they did. And then it was the tangle vines that killed him, though.
Yeah, the tangle vines too. But it wasn't even exceptionally close. You know?
We got another dwarven multi-hero.
Yeah. Fight control, super bad luck. Okay, but Silver Lining, he got a multi-hero. This one's a fire random. We'll have construction 2 next turn, so that means quills are going to be coming online.
But he did have a rough turn, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he had a turn that was so bad, it's almost like you just give up.
Did he do any fights at all this turn?
I think he had a squad, because you remember, okay, he went and took this, which we'll watch, because this is where he lost an army before. So he has the arrow bait out in front now.
But those are reduced significantly.
Yeah.
Yeah. See that? If he'd had the arrow bait last turn, it would have difference. The other thing is, I think they burned their gems. I didn't see any sleep clouds.
I thought Indy's replenished. Let's take a look.
Well, does it still have 2 witch doctors? Just 2 witch doctors.
Oh, I guess they don't.
Well, some seem to replenish, some don't. It doesn't seem to be consistent.
Yeah, I know the thrones regenerate gems. I guess these guys don't.
They do. They do. I know that for sure. But I think, if it's things like sorcerers, the air sorcerers, it's going to be worthwhile to probe it and burn off a few gems.
Yeah. But now look, even with this, like having more stuff and with a ton of the guys being dead, because before he lost quite a few to the javelin fire from the warriors.
Yes.
Even with this, he still lost 2. This is one of the things from my times when I've tried doing Sacred, Glamour, Cav expansion, and I'm not an expert at it, but archers and tribes actually will mess you up.
Yeah, they'll chew you up. Yeah. Just the chip damage will do you in.
Yeah.
And those tangle vines, because I saw a couple of vans get hit with tangle vines.
All right, and he's got a few vans here. I'm not sure what's going on. He's got a hearse. I guess he's going to send these guys somewhere down here, but
I think those were there last turn, and then he lost a couple of van hearses, so he might not have any way to get them back.
Oh, right. He failed also into these trolls is what he did, right?
Yeah, and I see a hearse there, so he sent somebody to go pick him up.
That's what he did. You're right.
Yeah, I think so.
And maybe he sends like a combined force into these wolf tribe or something, but...
Yeah.
And now it's very dangerous. If he goes for these border provinces with Ashdod, I'm pretty sure he would lose to the Anakites.
I think he would, yeah, depending on negotiation.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's Van. Let's go next. Yodenheim, the big boys. That expansion on the east was a close one. Not expanding as fast as I could this turn. I want to try to secure the Amazon province, and the second leader I was planning on sending another expansion with died, as well as a large province southeast with archers. So let's go to...
But if you take a quick look at the score graphs, I think he's the biggest.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Except Pan. Oh, Pan, you
oh, yeah. They were, but then this turn Pan did the, 4 or 5 expand?
4 or 5, yeah.
And he took it easy.
Holy crap. And then somebody is completely flat.
Okay.
But we'll get there. See, he's still got internals, too. Not a lot, but he's done some circle expansion.
Yeah. And it looks like he got these marks, the archers. And he said he wanted some of the...
He was going for some tribe, Amazons, jades. Where are the jades he was talking about?
Oh, they're up here.
Oh, there they are. Okay.
So he did basically an overkill force to take this so that he could consolidate and take this. Because these 50 Jade Amazons deserve some respect.
It does. And not only that, he's isolated the lizard province to take at his when he feels like it.
Yeah. And then these, he's got these. He probably said where he's going to go. The large, I think he's going for this one, which I'm not sure how this will go.
I see some what looks like Amazons or crystal zons. Those are the mercs?
Yeah, those are the mercs.
Archers in white. Okay, right. With some Pegasi.
So slow turn for Yodenheim. Not too much happening.
Relatively, but he's in fine shape.
Yeah. Ashdod. Somewhat risky expansion in the north this turn. The Cav province reports varied from 30 to 10, so I'm assuming 20. This is heavy Cav. My Edomites should eat lances and mostly die, but I still win the province. I considered the southern farm due south of my cap, but I can't see Van's scales in it. Oh, but I can see Van's scales in it, so it could be a bump. My test of 6 Anakites without any real bless versus 10 Vans with a rainbow bless didn't pan out in my favor. The difficulty in scouting as Ashdod is noticeable. So you remember we were saying they could bounce... Vanheim, Ashdod does not know that Vanheim's gotten completely trounced. But he's worried about bouncing against the Vans. In his testing, he found that Anakites don't do that well versus Vans. But you and I were just saying that there's so few Vans that they would most certainly get trounced by Anakites. The difficulty in scouting as Ashdod is notable. Relying on Diplo scouting, taking my cue from Lucid. That's very funny. That is primarily how we do our scouting. Who gives up a cap turn for expensive scouts as Ashdod? No scout provinces yet either. Have negotiated a northern border with Zibalba. He takes an awake Teodal of Rain with poison dart throwers. Suspect for poison spears, not for next level archer strats. Zibalba player I know and doesn't prefer a nap, so just agreed on an equitable border so we can both focus elsewhere. Negotiated favorable borders with Micklin. I get the southern large plain and farm in the middle, and he gets the northern large plain. He also gets a nap 3 for the generous terms. So he's got 2 borders negotiated, one with Micklin, one with Zibalba. And looking to make at least 2 borders stable so I can march to a war front. I feel Naba and Micklin are my best matchups due to the resistance on my bless. I want to avoid bumps with Van until my god wakes up. And Awe can mitigate some of the attacks. So he has a dormant Awe bless, apparently. Zibalba similar to Van. I think with Awe and 10 poison resistance, I'd be a fine matchup there. Much speculation on Zibalba's water bless. No confirmation of bless yet. Okay. So he doesn't know what Zibalba's bless is. I don't fully remember. Cold resistance and defense, and berserker. And blood surge. I don't actually remember this, but...
His bless?
Yeah, because he wasn't using sacreds.
No. Those brownish guys are his few sacreds?
Yeah.
Oh.
So they're berserkers with blood surge and defense skill.
Bloody Craig just dropped again. I'll just restart it.
Okay. Okay. So anyway, for Ashdod, they are... Where the hell are they? Okay, they're right over here.
Now recording.
Okay, there's Craig coming back. All right, so Ashdod well, let's see if they're interesting before we zoom in. This one's not interesting. 9 Anakites beat up some militia.
Yeah. This is the one he said was a little bit risky.
Yeah, this one could be risky. So he's got the Edomites up front. See, that is a lot of heavy cav. Oh, boy.
That is.
That'll make you sweat.
He guessed 20, and looks like he's right on the money.
I think we were talking about this one last episode. Oh
He
my
took
gosh.
one out with his might. And the first Anakite got wiped, but then the rest were okay. So he didn't quite get all the soaks onto his Edomites.
Yeah, they didn't, because they were throwing javelins, they didn't really do their job.
Yeah. No, he had to take some lance hits with the Anakites.
But importantly, these Anakites, they hit so hard that a lot of the cavalry defense is actually based on their defense combined with their shield. And for normal units, a shield block will protect them. But I think for an Anakite, it's kind of insufficient. Like, they still will do damage often through the shield.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it's looking like. Chop, chop, chop.
All right. So the death toll lost 3 guys. Not bad for killing 20 heavy cav. Well, that's nice for him. That was a pretty decent province, 55 income. And he's looking pretty sharp.
It's also a nice bit of a choke point.
Right. Yeah. And, of course, better he gets it than Zibalba. So he's got borders negotiated with Zibalba and Micklin. Wait, where's Micklin? Micklin over here.
To his east.
So I think he gets 2 of these and Micklin gets 1. I think Micklin isn't wanting to negotiate very hard with the versus Ashdod with the 15 shock resistance bless. Having charged by. So yeah, that's
interesting. He's negotiated a border where he hasn't even expanded towards yet. That's an interesting thing to do, because Micklin could have just ignored him and expanded however he felt like for another couple turns.
Yeah.
If he had enough scouting.
Right. That's and he was saying at the beginning he doesn't even know Micklin's over here. He just found it out through talking to people, and then negotiated a border. So that's pretty clever.
It's going to pay off, I think.
Yeah.
Now he can delay any expansion to his east and north until he's ready.
Right, and just focus on this stuff.
Bumps and...
Yeah. Okay, so that was Ashdod. Uruk, this is the first turn of a general alliance between myself, Pan, and 2 other nations who we aren't entirely certain of as part of the Coast Guard. Okay, this is when they made the group.
Yes.
Sai keeps trying to guess who's north of the lake. He guessed wrong the first time, incidentally inviting Pythium. That's funny. And
It looked to me like that Coast Guard was everybody.
Yeah, there were a lot of people in the Coast Guard.
Yeah, it's the whole darn game almost.
Yeah. Well, there's the Hydra people in there too. So the backups.
This is the 4th or 5th province that Mushusu has tanked.
Yeah, we wouldn't watch this because it's boring, but it's just so funny to watch this guy running a steamer.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that.
That's a solid unit.
He could possibly expand with nothing but those.
Yeah, I don't know how many you would need. I think it's probably, because these guys aren't that expensive, I think it's probably better to have like 10 of these in reserve than just 3 Mashushus.
Start army.
Yeah.
I think that's just half his starting army.
Yeah, that's probably true.
So he didn't even have to pay for them.
Okay, this steamroll. Tramplers versus heavy cav generally pretty effective, so that's what happened here.
Those things are funny. They're a lot better than I would have thought.
So he has a very unfavorable border with Naba so far. And otherwise, he's expanded well in the Zibalba direction.
Yeah.
And he's basically guaranteed. So he's been pretty clever. So he's probably not worried about holding land versus Pelagia. He made a very good strikeout basically versus Zibalba. And has done something at least on the border with Naba, but did not have a favorable border here. But basically, he has 2, because of the geography, just basically 2 certain borders, one with Pelagia and one with End.
Yeah, he's fairly small, but his expansion's been very, very efficient.
Right. He hasn't lost much.
I'm guessing that if he was to bump with those Mashusu, that would go very well in his favor.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'd be risking bumps, especially with that one with 2 of them.
Yeah, and he's got And this is basically all cordoned off for him. Like, there's very little that can be done to contest this. So he will be big. He's just not big yet.
What did he buy this? Oh, he bought 2 more. So there comes another party.
Yeah, another party. So they're
That'd
probably
be
going to come
his
up.
3rd expansion party.
Yeah.
Should be able to take the Lion tribe with no trouble.
Yeah.
Well,
It's okay.
He goes takes the Fishmen.
The what?
He takes the Fishmen. I can never.
Oh,
say
yeah.
it.
The Ichthids.
Ichthids. Yeah, if he takes those, then he can slowly work his way into the pawns.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
gonna take a long time. He's going to need probably 3 or 4 turns of recruitment to have any hope at all.
It's true.
But it's a freebie.
Yeah. Okay, on to end. Tactical play. What, did I have these in the wrong order? No.
I don't know.
Tactical play. 83. Oh, it's too long of a message. I can't read all this. 83 is the first more risky expand. 30 Bone Tribe. Should be 15 melee, 15 archers. And those numbers, my expansion party can make short work of them. I put them way in the back on hold and attack closest. Should engage the melee guys far away from the archers, basically making it 2 times fighting versus 15 men. We can figure a lot of this out.
Yeah, I don't think we have to read that.
He's if y'all want to pause and read this, he's telling us how the nation plays. We're not gonna do the national overview as part of this, but feel free to go back and pause and read it. Okay, so let's see. I'm not sure where the Bone Tribe were. Okay,
It's just generic.
that's
So
the
this should go
generic.
Easy peasy. I don't. Which bone tribes are you talking about? I'm not
Must be over here.
Did he do that?
Up here they are.
Oh yeah, there they are. And he succeeded expensively.
The javelins come out.
Job. He's doing fine. Well, he's gonna win this.
Yeah,
Got a guy with
it is a fight though. He's taking attrition.
Yeah, he is.
This, I would say, was almost the perfect party to send in.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
This is really well done. It was 42. It was more than he thought.
Yeah, that went very well.
Yeah, it went really well. Like, if you sent much more, I think this is a good example of like efficient expansion.
Mm-hmm.
Because, if he had more, it would be wasteful. But if he had really any less, he would have started taking way, way more losses. Like even 2 or 3 less soldiers, and it would have been
Touch and go.
Yeah.
The other thing is, like he said, he was still guessing. He only saw 30. He hit 40, and it could have been 60. If it was 60, he probably would have lost.
Oh yeah, he certainly would have lost, I think, versus 60. But
So
Yeah.
that was a relatively risky move, but worthwhile to lock down a piece of border.
yeah, and the Bone Tribe are a great, a great indie mage to have access to.
Yes. Cynophilians. I think that's how you say it.
Yeah. Okay. So that's it. Not too much happening. 2 expansions. Seems to be going well. They've got, these heavy cav up here, which are going to be pretty tricky, but it looks like they're set up to combine forces and take this.
Well, we were talking last turn on, what's his play here. He hasn't talked anything in his messages about any diplomacy.
Yeah.
So
We can also see he's gotten a lot of militia here. So actually, I think, you remember I was saying last time he should use the priests as lance bait?
but militia are even better.
Yeah, it looks like he's got the militia for that, so that's nice.
That looks like what his plan is, yeah.
But, okay, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. You're saying about diplomacy?
He just didn't mention anything about diplomacy in his messages that I saw.
Yeah.
And we can see Agartha, we can see that Agartha is going Shard Knights or Shard Guard. So we can see that Agartha isn't really in great situation to try to take out those heavy cavalry. But he doesn't necessarily know that. So it would seem to me it would be a good worthwhile thing to negotiate with Agartha.
Yeah. But, I think he's set up to take it and win a bump, too, which, in my opinion, yeah, I don't know. I tend to do that because a lot like Agartha would probably bluff and say, "Well, I want to have it," and not give it up easily.
Yeah, I'd be with what he's got set up there. If he's putting all three of those together, then I'd be bumping.
Yeah,
I'd take the risk on the bump there.
yeah. Okay, and he's still only got one temple so far. I normally try to build temples a little bit faster when I'm playing end, but we'll see.
He might be a little gold constrained.
Yeah.
He's not terribly large. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he's not very large.
Yeah. Okay. And then we have... Okay, that's it for end. So now we get to go wherever we want to.
Mm-hmm. Well, since we've been talking about it, I'm curious to see if Agartha's done anything different. He's got a little of the heavy infantry there. So does he have a plan? Yeah, he's going to have them get in front. So they're a little faster.
He's got some earth... What, is that earth melt coming out already? Is that alt 3?
Yes.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's quite good. Oh, geez, Craig dropped again.
That's okay. I don't think we need him. You can leave him.
Yeah, let's just leave it. Skip it.
Okay, so that's pretty interesting. And if he has that earth melt, that could be the deciding thing, because you do not want to be earth melded next to Shard Guard.
No.
So he actually may have a chance at winning a bump. And I could actually see a bump happening now, because the heavy cav also are going to have a lot harder time if they're getting earth melded.
Earth melding is going to make a massive difference if that's his plan and his play.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting next turn.
So he's expanded up here too. This is a pretty small force. I think this might have been a starting army. It's doing fine.
His starting army +4 Shard Guard, I think, is
right.
what that is. So.
So he has a very favorable border with Naba now too, which is nice for him.
My. Yeah, if he keeps going any farther.
But yeah, I mean, he's already got, like, this is the middle line between them. So if he gets this, he's got the full middle line.
And he's pinched off some territory, so he can clean that up as
yeah.
he wants. Mm-hmm. He's in good shape.
That's looking good. Naba, we mentioned briefly, they had this horrible, horrible event, which is game-changingly bad.
Yeah, and his expansion is only adequate. It's not, massive.
Right. He's expanded twice, taking very few losses, so pretty efficient moves.
Those Makata archers, those are the mercs, right?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
And it looks like he has more mercs. He's also got the far strikers here, which I think are these archers.
I thought somebody else had those the last turn.
It looks like he's purchased them, because they're in his cap.
Those are those longbows we were watching and debating if they were paying up because they got so few hits.
I think he's going to go after this Barb province with them.
That would make sense.
But he has to send something back up here. Losing this is just so debilitating. Oh my god. I'm actually a little sick from it. I'm a little sick, I'm not going to lie. I mean, how would you feel if this happened to you in a game?
I'd be embarrassed.
Yeah.
That I had misjudged a situation like that. I hate losing an early fort.
It hasn't happened to me in a long time, but especially on a province this good is what makes it hurt so much.
Lately, I've been delaying the start of forts until I'm pretty darn confident that they can't be bumped or taken. Because that's 600 gold on turn 4 or 5. That's an awful lot of expansion capability.
Yeah. The other thing, and while we're talking about Naba, is like, how do you deal... let's brainstorm a little bit. How would you deal with White Centaur? Because having that fort there, or having that farmland, really is antagonizing.
Well, I guess you've really got to consider if you've got a magical solution.
Yeah.
Does he have I would think thugging might be a viable solution to it.
Oh, thugging White Centaur is hard, my friend.
Yeah. Well, I'm just brainstorming. I know.
Yeah.
I'm not confident on that idea.
And like using these mid-tier troops is also hard because
very early evocation, maybe. mean,
Yeah.
if he's high on Malika, he's got fire and air.
Let's see. What is their bless again?
A really early rush for some elementals.
Yeah, but he right now he could probably only have size 3 ones.
That's what yeah.
And he has fire 10, shock 10, PR 5, and magic weapons. So elementals are not going to do great.
And they're large.
Yeah. So yeah, they wouldn't even, air elementals literally wouldn't do anything.
I mean, if you could stop them from hitting by earth meld or tangling or something, I don't know.
Yeah, they don't really have earth meld.
Yeah, no.
I think maybe it's luck spam or cheap fate spam if you don't have it yet.
Maybe.
On top of something that would be sort of killy. So I guess that's the thing is like, what's the most killy units they have?
Where's he getting cheap astral? Oh, he's got the cheap astral off.
He's got these guys.
Okay.
I mean, these guys are a little killy, and they would be good with cheap fate, which is only alt 2, is pretty good on guys with glamour. Especially if he had a little bit of defense in his bless.
Yeah, maybe those are, I don't know.
Or maybe these guys. But I think the only thing, if if Pangaea runs at you, until you have like big air or big elementals, which even then they're not going to be great against Pangaea, but I think it has to be like luck spam on top of your most killy guys you can manage.
What's his national income? That's something I'm not.
Oh yeah, I don't actually remember. 1 air, 1 earth, 1 fire, 1 astral, 1 water. The water, you don't even have a water mage.
Wow.
And the nature, you don't really have a nature mage. Oh no, there's no nature.
That is kind of weird. I don't know. I'm not having great ideas. That doesn't seem like a great matchup for him. Could be painful.
Yeah. I mean, the other option is just true volley of fire with having tons of these cheap Naba dudes, but you would need I think you have to have them behind. And we were just talking about how 5 centaurs killed 60 tribemen. Mm-hmm. But if you had a PD dump and not just relying on the PD, but you also had a fantastic number of these guys, it may be possible to do something. But
no, okay. An option might be worthwhile is the one time I played against Naba, he ran around with an awful lot of the Jinn.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if simple lightning bolt. Oh, well, no lightning bolt. Oh, but there's that targeting problem that it might not shoot at something with 10 shock resistance.
Yeah, it does not like casting lightning bolt at 10 shock resistance, guys.
Yeah, that's too bad because it would get through. And it would do the job.
Yeah, that could work. Well, they'd had a good turn, but now it's bad turn for Naba. We've talked about Uruk. Mm-hmm. We've talked about End. Satis, I've been dying to cover, but we haven't talked about them yet. No moves from Satis.
Ooh. Well, that's Vanarus. Satis did nothing this turn.
Their god is up here.
Doing what?
Don't know.
Searching?
It looks like he's site search because there's 2 sites here that have appeared.
But he doesn't have death, if I remember correctly.
No, it's a death, fire, air, I think. The Netter of Chaos.
Air, death? Okay. Yeah, I think you're right. Well, I guess he site searched.
Yeah. Which makes sense. It's a highland, so it's going to have pretty good gem income. Mm-hmm. But he is not... I mean, God, he's so small.
But what's he going to do with
Look at this. Doesn't even care.
Somebody else also didn't make an expansion this turn.
On one hand, I'm baffled by Satis. On the other hand, we've talked about it every episode, but he's doing something. If he turns this into something really cool, I'm going to be just so happy to have seen it.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Impressive, but he's really in the squeeze.
And we were really shocked because we thought we've seen him building up these Sobex, but he's not sending them out.
Well, and he's not sending out Marshmasters either.
Okay,
Maybe he could be expanding with skeletons.
he's rushed evocation. He's already doing Thunderstrike. Didn't we see Thunderstrike? So he's already at Evo 5.
No, lightning bolts, not thunderstrikes. I saw lightning bolts.
Oh, you saw lightning bolts. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it was. He was doing fire darts and lightning bolts.
Okay, maybe it's from an episode or a turn or two in the future. I thought he already done. If he's not, spoiler, he's going to start doing Thunderstrikes.
But his problem is thunderstrikes are going to fatigue that guy out pretty darn fast. He's not going to get that many off.
Yeah.
Well, if it'll be and they don't hit very well.
Well, okay, bear with me. He's got a ton of Marshmasters. He's got a lot of Sobek Warriors, which he's not using to expand. He's also doing this weird thing where he's got them on Guard Commander and casting. I was thinking, my first thought was like, okay, what if he's like, we're going to do Enchantment 5 expansion or Enchantment 3 expansion. Like, we're going to have 2 Marshmasters doing race, or 1 Marshmaster doing race skeletons with people on Guard Commander. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, that would be interesting. But I was like, he's not researching that. He's researching evocation.
If you remember the first episode, my prediction was what he was going to do was forge a few trinkets and then gear that pretender up and then send it up.
And he's not doing that. He's not doing traditional super combatanting. He's doing caster.
Yeah.
So, but what I'm looking at is what is there in evocation that he could potentially Banefire darts? I mean, these are pretty good.
Yeah, they're ugly.
Oh, yeah, they don't have fire in this age.
On the Marshmasters. Oh, you're thinking what he's going to do with the Marshmasters.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. He's got plans for him. Like, why would you go evocation? Oh, well. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
All right, Ulm. More brainless expansion. Here they actually take some losses, though, because Horse Tribe, these lightly armored versions can still take a little bit of damage from archers, and they're slow.
Well, Horse Tribes are one-use lances, aren't they?
Yeah, and they've got the lances, too, so...
The single-use ones.
Yeah.
Or are they light lances?
It's the light lance.
Oh, okay. But they still get the first strike.
They still get the first strike.
That'll kill a few, yeah.
Yeah. Over here, he sends a big party in against militia, clears this out. And, of course, importantly, he found the Furbolg Fortress, which is just excellent luck.
That's pretty sweet. So he's got his Master Smith doing site searching early.
Yeah. I wonder... Maybe he goes after these forest trolls. Getting this is really the prize for Ulm.
If he had scouting...
Well, he can see it now.
Yeah. Well, I meant if he could see Satis.
Oh, yeah.
If he could see that Satis has nothing, then I'd be totally pushing hard on those.
Yeah.
Choke Satis.
I mean, one of the biggest problems Ulm has is they don't have great mages that scale, and they don't have astral, and they don't have nature. This fixes all of those.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a good call.
So, anyway, that's something. We'll see if he goes for it. But getting a free fort, oh my god. When things like this happen to you in a game, you start to feel like you have an obligation to win. Now, he's not in a dominant position, but fortune has I don't know what the right word is, obligated him to win. He must achieve greatness.
He's got a long ways to go before he's going to be winning.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, this is adequate expansion, but it's nothing spectacular.
That's true. But Ulm is one of the nations, especially... Okay, my opinion on Ulm is you are a mid-game nation, and you have to play very aggressively, and you can make excellent use of fort turns. Like, getting a full fort this early where you can basically double your unit production and you have the best vanilla units in the game.
Well, and that fort has really high admin value, doesn't it?
Yeah.
30 plus 60.
60.
Yeah. So that's a lot of resources.
Yeah. So you get these things. I mean, this is honestly one of the nations that could really challenge Pangaea.
I would think that the big heavy flail guys would fairly efficiently chop down white centaurs. I mean, he would lose a lot, or the big
Yeah. And
those big flail
honestly,
guys.
I think you should be aggressive against Pangaea as Ulm. Because once they get foul vapors, you're in for a very, very rough ride.
Hmm.
But before you get foul vapors, I'm pretty sure, especially with this fort timing, so we can just crank out troops. I mean, oh my gosh. I don't
Well,
even know which guys I'd use, but
like either the big halberds,
oh my god, these guys, ooh.
they would chew up white centaurs pretty good.
Oh
The other
yeah.
one is, doesn't he have the two-handed flail with the 2 attacks?
Yeah, he's got these guys too.
The big axes, no, the two-handed flail guys. So that's only 16 damage.
But with
still,
Strength of Giants, they become a different animal.
yeah, and that's 2 attacks. I mean, I would think either of those would be doing quite a number on white centaurs.
Yeah, I think so too. What I would be doing, I would start mass producing Guardians. Maybe not quite yet. Maybe in like 1 or 2 more turns, and just prepare to like completely all in Pangaea.
Oh, sorry, guardians are the ones with the halberds, so they're the
Yeah.
anti-sacreds.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. I knew that.
They're cap only. These guys.
Yeah. Well, and anytime I've used them, I've kept them in behind just as a secret emergency force. I don't like to see attrition on those for generic use because it's just too pricey.
The other nice thing, and it's one of the reasons Ulm can play really aggressive, is these sappers too. Having just like 15 or 20 of these, which by the way are going to do nice damage, and they've got a 21 damage axe if things close in with them in melee. But their siege bonus is phenomenal.
And protection 17, so they're not dying easy.
Right. So having a contingent of these guys, like, you normally don't look at an army of like 100 guys and you're like, oh, this is going to 1-turn pop my cap. But like 60 or 70 of the Ulmish frontline troops with like 20 or 30 of those sappers in the back will 1-turn pop a fort that you just did not expect.
Unless you're playing against Agartha, and then you might as well not leave garrisons. Complete waste of time.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I had that earlier this year in a team game, and most of my fighting was Kalesa versus Agartha. And it was okay, but I just basically said, well, I'll let him take my forts if he tries, and then I'll come at him when he's on top, but never even it. There was no way on earth to build enough siege defense to stop his siege power.
Yeah.
When they cut siege defense by 50 to 50% across the board for everything, that made holding forts unbelievably hard. And I think the argument for it was because of the difficulty in sieging nations with auto generation of troops like maenads or skeletons and stuff, because you could never crack their forts. But other nations have no viable option to hold walls up. There's just very little options to hold walls up.
Yeah. I think that's fine. I mean, sieging forts is, I would rather it be hard to siege fort. I mean, hard to defend forts. You have to defend it with an army.
Well, you have to defend forts by breaking siege and going and fighting.
Yeah.
You're not gonna defend forts by sitting inside anymore.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just I've found it a significant change.
Yeah, it's a change. But this would be really interesting. I think this, especially getting this fort, makes this an Ulm favored matchup for a little bit versus Pangaea. And I would be looking... also, the Pangaea player is just so good.
Well, and here comes a diplomatic discussion. If I was feeling threatened by Pangaea, and I would be by this point in time, Ulm would definitely be a great option to try to get on your side.
Yeah. Like the Naba Ulm alliance is something that should... Because this is the other thing too, especially if they can figure out where these players are. Naba should know that owning this is basically going to antagonize Pan. And Ulm, if he knows Ulm is down here, and he knows the matchup between Ulm and Pangaea, that it's not very, but it's a little bit Ulm favored at the beginning, but very Pangaea favored in the mid game or early mid game.
Another suggestion on a possible counter to Pan, and it might be a little different, but I tried running 10 fire resist sacreds against magma children, and that was quite significantly inadequate
Yeah.
because the magma children chipped their way through that, and they're so stupid cheap that
Yeah.
it was painful. I only had Yavanna, but I was doing them with not Army of Gold, Marble Warriors and stuff, or Iron Warriors to boost their protection up. Then the 10 fire resist, and I was still getting chip damage through the magma children, and you were in net losing very badly from an attrition war. So magma
Huh.
children would
Well, they're
would
not really a neighbor to Pangaea, but that would be an interesting thing.
well, they're close. They're almost there.
They're almost there.
Yeah.
I would be triggered if Agartha attacked me if I was playing Pangaea. Getting attacked through a one province diagonal is like one of the ways to trigger me.
Well, I'm just looking here at who's reasonably got a potential to put a crimp on Pangaea getting too big.
Yeah.
Micklin, I don't think has an adequate solution to Pangaea.
No.
Because his charged bodies isn't going to do diddly against 10 shock resist.
No, it would be a free-for-all for Pan.
Yeah, but Om and Agartha have some reasonable counters.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at it from the Pangaea perspective, they've got a great matchup versus Micklin all game.
Absolutely.
They've got an exceptional matchup versus Ubar early. I mean, Naba early.
Yes. Well, if Sai decides to push hard on Naba, I think it's game over for Naba.
Yeah, I don't think there's much. They have to do big mage commitments with like a luck or something on top of good stuff and a PT defense.
Exactly.
When you do that and then you catch them, that's called outplaying somebody. So Naba would have to really outplay Pangaea.
Did Pan put some cold resist on?
Yeah, he has cold 5.
Okay, so Jotun has some potential for a play there.
Yeah. But Om is really the thing that the one player, because Pelagia is not going to do crap against Pangaea right now either.
No.
Om's really the only one. So it's an interesting thing because nobody wants to really fight a Hellblessed Pan. Because it's going to be horrible. So everybody's hoping Pan attacks somebody else. But if Pan attacks somebody else, then, like, because he could eat whenever he wants to Micklin or Naba. If Om sits there and doesn't do anything, I think that's a misplay.
Well, it's kind of a bit of a game over.
Yeah.
That's arguably, I mean, this is middle age, but in my tournament game, failing to notice that Pangaea was twice the size of everybody else was a terrible failure on my part.
Yeah.
And so I got caught up in keeping happy relations with them until the very end of the game. And by that point in time, there's nothing left to do.
Yeah. It's going to be
too stupid big.
So, and getting these shamans, I mean, yeah, the shamans, getting the lizards is very important for having a mid game against Pan.
Because be an excellent addition.
Yeah.
And it's a good spot for a fort.
Yeah. So anyway, we've talked about that long enough, but interesting. Pelagia doing some expansion against Triton Troopers. We haven't watched it. Pelagia's not doing too much expansion. We'll watch this.
It's pretty straightforward. He lost more than I thought he would.
Yeah.
Is it
poison?
Damage poison? That's probably what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. Because those guys are pretty tough.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is mostly poison.
Yeah. The bane of underwater expansion.
Yeah, I tell you what.
Attrition's very high. He's bought himself a shambler, probably just to move stuff around.
Okay.
He's playing very careful. There's not much to say about Pelagia. He's just playing really careful.
I think his mindset right now is he seems to be okay. 10 is a weird thing because, like, if you're only 10 provinces, you're going to be a rump state. But it's also like a very secure 10. So I think he's just going to play chill and wait till one of his neighbors gets eaten and then try to vulture.
Well, when I play Underwater Nations, I usually try really hard to pick the direction I'm going to get on land and then get a really strong beachhead. Because if you don't hold that beachhead, you might as well have not bothered.
Yeah.
So you need to be putting together your amphibious troops hopefully with some mage support. And so, given that Pan just took the one below, I'd be looking very closely at that farm directly north.
Yeah.
And that's not a very hard fight. Grab that, fort it up, reinforce it, PD dump it,
Yeah.
and then, you know, move out from there.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I mean, what else do you have that you have to spend money on when you're underwater? If you really want to get a beachhead, you know, you
Well,
can
he's
do a
also
PD
got
dump.
he's also got some oddball things like those funny little shambler militias with the coral spear slightly to his northwest, the independents
Oh,
that he's
yeah.
going to have to kill. Well, those things I've used in the past as an attrition dump because they'll slowly chip damage a lot of other things with that trickle of poison.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
They're really cheap. They're 7 or 8, I think.
Yeah.
And they take very few rec points, very few resources. So an independent, without forting it, you could probably make 10 to 12 a turn. And they're decent patrollers.
Hmm.
And behind a line of PD, they have that little surprise that you're going to kill a ton of them, and they're going to run away. But at the same time, you're taking some chip poison damage for everything you attack them with.
That's an interesting idea. I've never used them.
Well, unlike the other poison ones that are poison on the armor, that only affects short range weapons. But those are poison on the little tip of the spear.
Oh, right. Yeah. So as long as you do any damage, you're going to get that. I think it's 5 damage. I don't know if that will go through the Satis native PR, but other nations it would be good.
I bought quite a lot of them in a Blitz game I played live on my Twitch, and part of the reason was for siege power. They were quite cost effective. I think they're 11 or 12 strength, which makes them a little better than some other things for that gold price. Because I don't see that he's got any other choices for independent amphibious. And the next question will be where he puts his second fort.
Yeah.
I guess it's probably going to be right there with the Amber Clan mage to his west.
Oh, he's building it here.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, here's what I'm thinking. This site has an increase as magic site.
Oh.
And he only went magic 1, so he's going to get extra research for every mage he builds here.
Of course, that's an excellent. Well, any mage he moves there.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't even have to make them there. No, that's a good point. Although I might have just put a plain lab there.
Yeah, but then somebody could kill your mage core.
That's awfully hard. They're water magi. Give everyone a gem.
Yeah, but you're asking for it. Like Pangaea to send in some foul vapor stug because he's figured out what you're doing.
But have you ever done that on purpose? Build just a lab behind a PD dump, fill it with magi, and then try to bait somebody to attack it?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of how blood hunting happens a lot of times, but...
That's what I do with blood a lot, yeah.
Yeah. But,
okay, anyways.
Like having your whole mage core there, I would never want to put that many eggs in one basket.
No, not without a fort.
But with a fort, he can really take advantage of 2 free magic scales. So.
Yeah, and he probably is not resource constrained in his capital. He's probably rec point.
Well, because he's not even going to make his cap. I mean, I guess he wants some of the cap sacreds, but not the horses anymore.
He wants turtle guys, like the amphibious guys.
The wave warriors.
Yeah.
All right, so that's Pelagia. Satis we've talked about. Time to go to this column. We've got Vanarus. Pretty standard expansion.
He's playing very careful.
Well, we say that.
Oh, that didn't work. Oh, that's small. Against heavy cavalry? That's a really small expansion party.
If nothing else, Marilyn, when these are good players, right? And when you play it at home, maybe you're playing single player and you get crushed by heavy cav and you feel like you're not very good, you just need to know it happens to the best too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we all have fumbles or bad days. You wake up in the morning and you had a rough night, or you just aren't thinking clearly and you slip. Or remember when we did the team game and I went and took an Agacock and accidentally moved it unstealth with the scout because I hit the A key and sent.
Yeah. That was a mistake. Did you see what just happened here, Marilyn? Sorry to interrupt.
No, I missed that part of it.
All right, so they were charging in. It looked like they had won. They got back down here. There are two mounted commanders. The mounted commanders chopped a few of these guys in the head, killed them. They killed the first mounted commander. They killed a couple more dudes. They killed the second mounted commander. There is no Indy commander left. And Vanarus just triggers her out.
But where did his commander go? Did he get sniped with an arrow?
No, his commander's back here or something.
Oh, he's still there. Oh, he just ran away.
It was an HP route or like a failed morale check. I think it was an HP route for the army.
Wow.
After the second they killed the last Indy commander, they're on army HP routes.
Well, there you go. So he got rid of all the heavy cav.
Yeah.
And these darn light cav finished him off.
And he can take this with the scout next turn, so it's not a huge deal, but I mean, it's a kind of big deal. But it could be worse. There's no commander here now, so you just send anybody in, the guys will run away.
Too.
How about that? Okay, I'm sorry, I was interrupting. You want to finish your thought?
Now I've lost it.
Okay. I lost it too, so I can't even jog your memory. I was too busy with my jaw sitting on the floor watching them kill the...
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Man, 3 mounted commanders, wow. All right. The monkeys.
There's these chakrams.
And he's actually using them.
Well, he used them as a little bit of, I would call it an archer bait squad. He had them slightly in front.
Let's watch this again. You take us through this play by play. So he's got him in front.
And he's got one longbow with him. So if there is fire archers, it's going to go at the chakram squad. Because it looked like that Bandar longbow was in the squad with the chakrams. Now, there aren't many archers here. I think that was his idea. It looks like it didn't quite work because I see the arrows from the independent archers shooting towards the tigers.
Yeah.
Or the crossbows.
The fire from these guys was not terribly impressive. It doesn't look like they were missing, but it looks like it was hitting the shields and bouncing off.
Yeah, but I think that was his concept.
Yeah.
So maybe what he needed was them a little farther forward.
Yeah, that sounds right. I think you're right. It'll be interesting if the Bandar layer wants to put in the comments when this video finally gets up what was going on. If that was the idea, if it was really archer bait for the crossbows, because I can imagine you not wanting to have crossbows hitting your tiger riders.
It would be nice not to take crossbows on your tigers if you can avoid it. And a single light Bandar archer, the only purpose I can think of for buying him in the first place and having him was to use him as a fire archer's bait.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's my guess.
Ooh, this is spicy. Going after the Jade Amazons here.
He does fine. So this is very straightforward.
And then Cold Blast. He's got bleeding on one of his tigers. Tango Vines are coming out. Dude, Tango Vines is doing so much work this game.
It's chewing the crap out of some of these elite sacreds. It's pretty painful against some elite sacred. An instant defense of 0 for just 1 round or 2 rounds, depending on their strength, how long it takes to break free. But that's why the Vine Shield is so damn good.
Yeah.
It's funny how people will realize that the Vine Shield is so damn good and fail to realize that Tangle Vines, a Nature 1 spell, for a mage that can always buff its precision with Eagle Eyes, is a really effective counter to a lot of things.
I wonder which nations have the most easily spam. I know, I'm thinking like Veti Hags. I'm trying to think which nations have just imminently cheap Nature 1 mages.
Well, they're also the most common independent mage in the game.
Yeah, the indie mages are kind of expensive though. They're like 90 gold.
Oh,
I guess that's fine if you're getting a Tanglevine cannon.
Yeah.
I mean, would you pay 90 gold for a troop? Well, it's not the same because you have to use a lab turn. I was going to say, would you pay 90 gold for a troop that would spam Tanglevines?
Well, it's also a swarm caster.
Yeah.
And I would pay 90 gold for any old piece of junk that can toss up some insects for the right situation.
Yeah, that's true.
A handful of dragonflies can make a mess of, say, a small communion.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Swarm is painful.
Yeah,
I'm
I love that spell.
I sent geared Dakini against, and Oriads tried to seduce them, and their swarm just messed up my Dakini.
Yeah, it's brutal, especially if you don't have poison resistance. It's
Well, I did, but it was just the chip and the distraction,
yeah,
and they jump in there and kill their blood slaves and
yeah.
all kinds of. It was just too darn many of the damn things.
Hmm.
They had frost brands, but they were only killing a square a turn, and you've got like 15 to 20 squares of bugs.
Yeah, that's true.
Actually,
Swarm's a hell of a drug.
He was using Creeping Doom, so that's even worse. But there's definitely a few things. Well, and independent Nature 1 Magi also give you some forging options that maybe you don't have.
Yeah, yeah. If you don't have nature, it's always good to pick up some. But
Because messenger boots and bottles of wine and those sorts of things. There's a number of reasons to get some independent Nature Magi.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's normally if I'm playing a nation that doesn't have nature access, if I'm behaving well, I'll try to build my first fort there.
I mean, I'll take Shaman over them anytime.
Oh, yeah.
That isn't always an option. I just wanted to take a look here. See, speaking of cheap Nature Magi.
The Nahuli.
Well, they're not cheap. Well, 125. It's not bad.
Is that how much they cost? 125?
That's what it's saying to me.
Huh.
For Nature 2 Astral 1.
They're one of my favorite mages in the game.
That's an excellent purchase.
Because they can fly in addition in their eagle form. Or their turkey form.
Lizard Shaman are 115 if I remember right. But only Nature 1. So.
Yeah.
Everything's going a little better for him.
Wow. I mean, that for 30 Wolf Tribe coming in with this garbage?
Yeah, but remember those warriors have a pretty good shield. So they're relatively defended against.
Yeah, how about that?
Against the short bows.
Oh, he lost to this province earlier.
Yeah, he lost to the dagger guys.
But he killed all the warriors and left only the archers.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. What was his Nahali actually doing? Anything?
I think it must have just been who he had in his capital to lead whatever pile of idiots were here to come join up with this force. But we can curse. Yeah, which is...
So he doesn't have any research.
He's just off script, yeah.
It's just there.
Oh, man. Hard time beating Micklin, though. After that last turn from Micklin was pretty catastrophic. I think he had, what, 3 or 4 failed expansions?
Yeah, and, he was using parties of 4 Jaguars, and with his funny bless that just isn't killy enough.
Yeah, and if you're Micklin too, man, you're hoping people don't notice. Like, if this one of the things, like, we get to see because we're omniscient, or we're playing the omniscient faction, but we get to see what a painful situation he's in right now. But he's just hoping other people don't know, so he gets a chance to get his feet back under him. Because he'll scale okay if he can get a few forts up and Eagle Warriors cranking out.
See, Bandar's got nothing on his border, so Bandar's not paying attention to that.
Yeah.
But Pangaea sure is.
Yeah, Pangaea's already cleaned up this border.
So he can see that he's pushed within one of his capital.
Yeah.
Empty provinces. Or independent provinces.
Okay.
Is that everybody?
That's Micklin. We've done Yodenheim, I think. We did these guys. We have not done Pythium.
Oh, yes.
And Pythium, again, they're suffering from that earlier bump with Vanheim still. They're still aching from those wounds. But they've got real armies now, finally. It's not just Retarii.
Yeah, and the Tower Shield Jab guys are very solid.
Yeah. And these guys are just so good versus normal. They're outnumbered 2-1, and these are garbage troops, and you only lose 4 of them.
Yep. But the big shields. And he's got a second party. 3 parties he put out this turn. Oh, okay. Here's his handful of gladiators. And
Which, okay. Okay.
well, they were there. He didn't move them from his cap. It doesn't look like he's buying any more of them.
Yeah.
Just looking at his capital. So he's
Oof.
researching.
Yeah. Heavy
okay.
infantry. He's okay. He
See,
doesn't have much military strength right now. Like he's not, if we look at the score graphs, he's not like the small, he's like middle of the pack for nations.
Mhm.
But on the army size graph, how is he? Oh, he's middle of the pack here too.
middle of the pack.
Okay.
Bottom end is Satis and Vanheim, but we know why.
Yeah, he's okay. He's okay. He's doing better on the graphs than I thought he'd be. I was kind of in panic mode.
Satis is just not buying troops.
Oh my goodness. There's a player-on-player attack. But you're right, Satis is not buying troops.
Oh.
We haven't seen this guy yet, have we?
No, not. He's not. Oh, he bought a little bit of trinkets. Made himself a couple trinkets.
Personal regen.
He's got, are those frogs as his retinue
Yeah.
on the ground there? Those
Okay.
green things?
Yeah. So look at this, though. You remember his bless. We didn't even know what it was until just now because he hasn't been expanding with sacreds.
So he's got one of those for the big toads.
Yeah. And then a bunch of these little baby frogs. But importantly, and this guy's, I think, a trampler. But so he's got enchantment. He's going enchantment, which I have to think about all the like I guess that's for skelly spam and stuff with Zots, but it's given him personal regen and chill aura. And as part of his bless, he has berserk and defense and blood surge.
Okay.
So you have to kill him before you pass out from Breath of Winter.
I sure hope. I hate berserk on a god. Oh man.
He's fine.
I know, but things could go so wrong.
But like 20 Rotarius here would probably murder him.
Yeah. But that is a direct attack. That wasn't a bump, right?
Right. That was a direct attack.
So he started a war.
Yeah, he did. He's like, you have a farm here? I want it.
Unless they did an agreement, but nobody said anything.
Okay, this is a spicy turn for Zibalba because you remember there was a big army here, and we were saying whether we should send in, he should send it in versus this because there's knights and there's 17 knights, which is scary.
He chose not to.
Chose not to. Instead, he went over here. He hits the Indies.
And looks like his losses are painful.
But there's a bump too afterwards.
Oh, yeah. He's doing fine against the heavy cavalry. But who did he bump?
Yodenheim. The Bandar Band.
Okay.
And the Bandar, again, we've been singing their praises. They're a good merc band.
But this is going to be the end of their existence. I think both these armies are going to come out of here absolutely trashed.
Oh, man. And the first squad routes?
But look at the poison all over the place. So none of those Bandars are getting away.
Yeah.
Well, a couple. So he won that, but it was painful.
Yeah. But, this is a great gold mine, which I don't know if he knew ahead of time. He probably could have told if he put this thing up, you can kind of see this in adjacent provinces if your dominion's in there. But now he's in a weird spot because he had taken all this time to build up this huge chaff army. And it's gone now, and he's just started a war with Pythium.
Tricky situation.
But he was really getting pinned in. He was pinned in on this side from Uruk.
Yeah, and by Jotun.
And pinned on this side from Jotun.
And obviously Jotun wasn't going to sit there and wait for negotiations. He just kept pushing.
Right. And so he's like, okay, well, and he was pinned in from Pythium, right? Because last turn he had this, and then this was going to be really hard to take.
That's right.
And so he picked which neighbor, I guess he thought, which I think you kind of have to do. You have to pick a neighbor. You can't sit in here and be a 3x3 nation and think things are going to be okay.
No, I agree with you. I think he made a strategic decision. But he didn't tell us anything about his negotiation, so it looks like he hasn't negotiated much with anybody.
Yeah, I don't think so.
He's got no secure borders, a bump with Jotun, an aggressive move on Pythium, and down below he's got Anakites coming up.
Yeah.
Yikes.
He's recruiting these Obsidian warriors.
They fly.
Where are we? It's these guys.
Oh, it's those guys. Oh, right.
So these guys are going to have the poisonous skin. They're going to have blood surge and 2 defense. And berserk. They'll hit really hard.
Very hard.
But you do not want to send them to a pile of Rotarius, I tell you what.
But they're going to be crippled by any poison resist.
Yeah. Interesting.
Well, I think, though, being an armor, that only affects things with short weapons. Typically, those poison armors.
Oh, yeah. This is going to reduce.
Typically, poison armors are that sort of thing. You got to be broadswords and daggers and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's on now. It is on. I don't know. It'd be interesting to know how much intel he has. Like, if he knows how big of a fail Pythium has had recently.
I don't know.
If Pythium hadn't lost this bump with Vanheim, I think it would be a very different Zibalba attacking them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting, very interesting situation for him. Tough situation.
And then he expands down here against Barbs. This we have to watch. He lost half his army.
But it's just garbage.
Yeah.
I mean, only losing 30 of those against that many Barbs, that's not bad at all. At least he sent enough that he didn't run away.
Okay. That's one way to do it.
That's not a bad result.
Well, I mean, you're losing as many guys as you killed. It's not awesome.
Yeah, but he summoned a Mound King, which is interesting. I wonder if that was just to be sure that if anything went wrong, he had 2 commanders there.
Yeah, it could be. Or it could be he was combining armies, and this is just an efficient way to not waste like a cap turn or something.
Together, yeah. Well, Mound Kings are very cost effective.
And they I think this is what it was. The Mound Kings are letting him put these guys in a line. So he's combining armies.
Oh, right, yes.
He's got a box in the middle, which is from the Batab.
Right.
And then the Mound King's letting him put these guys in a line.
Excellent point. Yeah,
Huh.
Good analysis there.
God, I should do that on Vanheim.
It's not a bad idea.
Because Vanheim's got real morale and leadership issues.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's them. We've done Pythium, we've done Vanheim, and I think that's it. I think we've done everybody.
I think that's it. Interesting. I still don't have an answer on this Malakal thing.
Oh no. American Dictionary didn't come to our aid, huh?
But no, could you go back to his spelling?
Oh yeah. Well, we'll have this for you and more in the next episode, what Malakal means.
He's going to have to Malakal pretty hard. We should just ask him.
Yeah.
That's from Sai, right?
Yeah.
I'll try to look him up if we're gonna pause here for a little bit and see if he has an answer to what the heck he means there.
Great.
So that's some kind of memey thing. It's probably from the immersion server. Those guys are so memey over there, they lose me half the time.
Yeah.
Just, what on earth are you talking about?
Yeah, I won't pretend I know. So anyway, thanks again, Maryland, and thank you all for watching.
Absolutely. Very fun. I'm glad I had a good sleep because I was a lot more with it today. I felt a little behind you yesterday. I'm just kind of barely hanging in there.
Well, you're certainly with it today. So thanks for coming.
Yeah.
All right. See you next time, guys.